We're going to look at some old games originally designed for the Windows 95, 98, and XP eras of computer gaming. In this episode of Forgotten Games. Okay, so I was originally going to do a video just on this one brilliant little game, Doreamon Attack. You control the mouse cursor on screen and avoid the cat heads. Feel free to post in the comments if you know a game that's similar to this one. It is a simple game, but the main reason I ditched this idea for a video is because when screen recording this game, it slowed the mouse way down, and this makes the game unplayable and look terrible. I was already having subpar mouse movement, but with the slowdown it was untenable. So, instead of doing a brief analysis on this game, I decided to take a larger look at a bunch of obscure computer games and programs from the late 90s and early 2000s. The first of these games I want to discuss is Neophyte Coplio's Story by Alien Software. This game runs on Windows 95 and 98, and maybe other Windows versions as well, but not on modern operating systems. This is a Japanese-style RPG from a time when Japanese RPGs really weren't available on Western PCs. It's about a young monk about to undergo a coming-of-age ceremony to gain the honor of guarding a powerful armor. But a strange earthquake and rumors of dark forces might stand in the way of a happy conclusion to this humble monk's story. According to the My Abandonware website, this game was developed by 15 to 19-year-olds. So it was made by teenagers, which is really cool. Well, they're definitely not teenagers now. But teenagers making this whole epic Japanese-style RPG is impressive. You get to wander around and explore the monastery, go in different rooms, talk to different NPCs, and explore and see what's in the bookshelves and in chests. And everywhere there's little things to explore and discover. And there's cool things like the light coming in through the window and the candles, little details. Oh, Gnath, may he rest in peace. And this crow randomly attacks you. I don't know, maybe he's bitter at you about something or other, but he can cause damage. Calm down, crow. Crows are really smart, right? I mean, it must have a good reason for attacking me. Let's help out this gardener. Break all these rocks in his garden. There's a rock. There's a rock. And there is a rock. What the hell is that? Is that a skull? This dude's got a skull under one of the rocks? I don't know if I trust this guy anymore. The spell of Firebolt. Throne Fury. Be like Coplio's story. The next game I'm going to look at is Zyclunt. It's a DOS game. It was made by the South Korean developer Fantagram Co., Ltd. This game is really cool. You play as a mech guy going around fighting machines. The game also has a story, but it's not so important. In short, you are a blade warrior, fighting seemingly evil robots and cyborg minions, probably born out of ChatGPT. It's a 2D side-scrolling and slashing game. It has definite arcade and Sega Genesis vibes. It also reminds me a lot of the spiritual mix of a lot of dystopian future media, specifically RoboCop, Japanese mech manga and anime, and Blade Runner. It's Armored Core 7, Zyclunt. Anyway, this game is a lot of fun. You can slash enemies, duck, jump, and parry shots coming at you with your laser sword to block them. Controls on the keyboard were a little tricky for me. I'm just accustomed to using console controllers. You have to fight these robot soldiers. The flying ones are difficult to hit. You can also get this laser thing, which isn't very helpful. This is a mini-boss with a gun arm, and you have to defeat him and his robot minions. And here's a boss that's a pain in the butt to beat. You can hit either his spiky ball arm or his head. He shoots these homing missiles that are very frustrating to defend against. Once you destroy his robot arm, it turns into a laser. Fantastic game. I think it would be really fun to speedrun. Now let's shift gear and look at some digital paper dolls from different independent artists, mostly from the early 2000s. If you're into fashion and art, these are really cool pieces of the past. I downloaded all these digital art pieces called Kisekae from otakuworld.com, where they're archived. Let's start with this one, which I made. It's kind of interesting to look back at something you made almost 20 years ago. I'm a different person with different interests and sensibilities now. But it's an amazing interactive time capsule, both personally and of that time in history. It's also a joy to see the art I was able to create with MS Paint way back when. The doll has two characters and various themes. This blue woman and this skeleton guy. And it's just a mishmash of pop culture interests, creative designs, environmentalism, and a sprinkling of preachy politics. These things probably aren't relevant anymore. Thank God humans have progressed so much since then and no longer have brutal conflicts, rampant consumerism, or environmental destruction. But it's quaint to look back on a less enlightened time when these things were commonplace. It's even got some creative animation in it, mostly based around Batman the Animated Series. A fascinating trip down memory lane. Let's look at some other ones. Here's a little fuzzy guy called Zio with accessories. The artwork here is totally whimsical. Love the awesome designs on some of these, like this one called Sharped Robbie, with the way it follows these wild lines. So creative. Here's one inspired by the art of Japanese animation. There were a lot of these style dolls made, especially since this art form I think was originally developed in Japan. This one is an homage to Invader Zim. The details here are fantastic. So many outfits and things to interact with. I have to be honest and admit I've never seen Invader Zim. Here's another lively anime-inspired doll, and here she is with a wizard beard. Beautiful colors. You can learn kanji with this one. Here's another wild one called Zukin. And here's one that is so tiny you need a magnifying glass to see it. This one is a character from Lord of the Rings, Eowyn. And this one is in black and white and is super detailed. Here's a zombie doll. She's got these bloody, tattered outfits. I really dig this art, but I'm biased because I love zombies. Movies, TV, games, anything zombie related. This character has some awesome neon outfits. She's got that London, England zombie vibe, like 28 Days Later or Zombie U. Also some anime and Hot Topic vibes as well. Here's one that's a bit of a cultural time capsule with many references to pop culture of the time. I mean, these are all little time capsules. There were also some rudimentary games made for this software. Here's a very basic fighting game that doesn't really do much, but is still entertaining. As it says on screen, it's called Idiotic Combat. and here is a game called 6 Must Die. You press the numbered switches and I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to accomplish, but, you know, I imagine 6 must die. By the way, I'm running this using the program PlayFKiss, which can be found at the Otaku World website. Well, that was a whirlwind tour of some of the huge database of these art pieces, and digital paper dolls online on the Otaku World website. I definitely can't vouch for everything made for this software because there's a massive amount of it out there, but these ones are pretty cool. My next video is going to be on the Tone Rebellion by the now defunct developer The Logic Factory, makers of Ascendancy, but I couldn't get it to run. The game was an isometric real-time strategy game that wasn't about conquering or consuming resources, but about balance. The characters were these mystical floater creatures that were fighting a disease-like invader. And the soundtrack to this game, by Nenad Vugrinek, is so trippy and awesome. You can find it online for yoga or meditation or something like a trippy light show. As a side note, this same studio was developing an ambitious and mysterious RPG called Seeker. It was cancelled and now remains a complete mystery, lost to time. I really hope you enjoyed this look at these obscure and forgotten games and digital art. Thanks for watching. Anything can happen in this seedy city. It's a crazy world out there. It was a dark and rainy night. This dame walked into my office and offered me a job. She knew I had a cyber suit. I had to have one. I was that type of guy.